Meet Anurag, the common Indian biker. Graduated with a diploma in Mumbai traffic and now a full-time commuter to work and home on the Indian roads. Anurag spends most of his time in the urban jungle and goes out of his comfort zone, Aukat, and ecosystem once in a while to enjoy long rides around the city. Over time, Anurag has learned and realized from his experiences how important it is to wear riding gear and make sure he wears maximum amount of protective gear wherever he can.
If you put all riders on a scale from 0 to 10, what most of you think of yourself as is a 6 to 8. What most of you actually are a 2 to 3.
Right.
And it's the gap that causes the crashes.
My mama told me, son, always be a good boy. Don't ever play with guns.
Was a little too scary, wasn't it? These horrors of a biker are what insurance companies or riding gear companies cash on, with fancy names for new and improved technologies, features that you didn't even know existed but still have the craving for now that they've been introduced. Us biking enthusiasts always have an eye out for what is new in the market, right? But also there's the other end of the spectrum that believes in absolute bravery and freedom, that thinks it's meaningless to wear a full body diaper, and they think that confidence and masculinity is more than enough. I remember one of my friends asking me that, why do you need riding gear? Do you not trust your riding skills? Now, I had the answer to this question, which I will probably give at the end of this video, with a beautiful specimen right in front of me. But for a moment, I want you guys to pause this video right now and tell me, why do you think you need riding gear? And what makes it really important or less important?
Biking as a culture is not new in India, although the awareness related to road safety and using safety gear among the everyday Indian biker has been a tale of less than a decade. Thanks to the internet and social media, spending money on bikes and biking accessories has been normalized to the millennials and the Gen Z. But there's still a huge chunk of the community that doesn't think it's equally important to spend some, if not at least half of the money on safety gear as well. People are still hesitant to wear helmets on the streets, and a full set of riding gear is often considered extravagant by non-enthusiast bikers, let alone the humongous ego of a few self-proclaimed superheroes that think it's not alpha enough to even wear a helmet. Also, given the weather conditions in India, the amount of crowd, traffic, pollution and heat that there is on the Indian streets, even people like me that are concerned about road safety shy away from wearing riding gear on a daily basis. But accidents and mishaps on roads are unpredictable, and no matter how aware you are of yourself or your surroundings, you can't assure a 100% safe ride every goddamn time.
Okay, so let's just agree that we do need riding gear. But where do we begin? And how do we decide which one to go for?
I had the same questions, and the solution to which I felt would be great was to come up with a list of fundamentals of a good piece of riding gear. First, safety, because if the riding gear you own doesn't provide you safety from impact, what's even the point of owning it? It's like using chopsticks to drink soup, or wearing a sweater in Mumbai, or buying a pair of headphones for your pet snake. Wait, I had bought a pair of headphones for my ex. Comfort, because comfort will often get you distracted and won't let you focus on the ride and your safety on the road. Third is build quality, because anything that doesn't last long is useless.
That's what she said.
And the fourth is price, because let's face it, the price of any riding gear is the biggest hurdle one has to cross to end up making the decision to whether buy it in the first place or not. Now, there are a billion things one can get, with a gazillion options from different brands, not just in India but all over the world. But regardless of the kind of gear you get, the kind of brand it comes from, and for the kind of purpose it serves, these four fundamentals eventually decide whether the investment makes sense or not. So now, what do you start with?
First and foremost is obviously the helmet. Now, no matter how smart or dumb you are, you're still valuable. And the most valuable part of you is inside your head. Now you wouldn't want to see what's inside your head, would you?
And that's why the first thing I bought, before even buying a bike, is the helmet. Now the one you see over here is the MT Thunder 3 SV that I've been using since the last 3 years, with an injected polycarbonate shell, as MT likes to call it, which is basically a fancy thermoplastic material. The Thunder 3 is ECE and DOT certified in terms of safety. This costed me about 7,000 rupees at the time of purchase and has been serving me quite well ever since. But this baby, as it should, is showing signs of aging. With the visor cracked and the gasket coming off at places, the wind noise on this one has been an issue since recently, which is justified considering it has run in for 3 years over about 25,000 kilometers of distance. And this is when I decided to get an upgrade. The AGV K5S. Now, this helmet comes from AGV, which is an Italian brand. This is a substantial upgrade over my previous helmet, both in terms of price and the value you get for the price. The shell in this one is made of carbon fiberglass. Fiberglass has a property to disperse and pacify the impact, and is drastically strong and lightweight. This too comes with the same ECE and DOT certification, along with a Sharp 4 rating. It also has the double D-ring fastening mechanism that is considered the safest in the world and mandatory on the track. This, however, doesn't come with the ISI certification, which is why this helmet and the likes of it are banned from being sold in India. Does that make this helmet unsafe to use? Absolutely not. Now, for a second, let's discuss the helmet safety ratings and the drama that lies within. Helmets around the world are rated with a certain set of safety ratings that are given once the helmet passes the safety tests. ECE is the European safety mark that certifies helmets to be sold in the European countries and is the most common safety rating around the world. DOT is the safety certification in the US. DOT is more of an honor mark, which is based on self-certification, which, to be very honest, isn't as legit as a proper certification. In simple words, it doesn't mean shit. ISI is India's own safety mark that certifies helmets being sold in India. There are also other lesser known certifications like the Sharp, Snell and FIM that undergo much more rigorous testing and come on expensive helmets that, as a result, are even more safer.
Story time. 2 years ago, the Ministry of Road Transport in India declared a notification stating that all the two-wheeler helmets sold in India must be BIS certified and should carry the ISI mark. This was to ban all the substandard non-ISI helmets being sold in the Indian market, which is of course a great step. But what that did in return is that any helmet that doesn't carry the ISI mark, no matter how safe it is, cannot be sold in India. Now this also includes all the premium helmets like AGV, Shoei, RI, etc. that don't carry the ISI mark. What's even funnier is that the IS 4151, which is a standard of the ISI mark, is essentially based on the ECE 2205, which is exactly the safety rating of this helmet. Even then, this helmet or any ECE 2205 rated helmet, if it doesn't have the ISI mark, cannot be sold in India. Wow! But did that help? Let's find out. कितने के ये हेलमेट? कितना 600?
सही है चीज भी भैया दे।
It says that it carries the ISI mark, but कितने का है भाई? पुलिस वाले पकड़ेंगे नहीं ना इससे? ऐसा है? ये रियल है?
रोड पे बेचते जो कोई नहीं पकड़ेगा।
अच्छा, ये लो, चलो, thank you. Well, see, now I don't know if that is a legit ISI mark, but you see the quality of that helmet and you can tell me.
Moving on, now there are other helmets in the Indian market. Even the MT Thunder 4, for example, a successor of the one that I have, that has the ECE, DOT and the ISI safety mark. Then why not get that for 1/3 the price?
What justifies the enormous price tag of these premium helmets? I had the same questions and I asked Shumi from Motoring to know his opinion on the same, knowing how knowledgeable and articulate he is about everything motorcycles, and I got my answers.
What distinguishes this helmet over my previous one, or even the Thunder 4 for that matter, is the quality of materials. Substantially better ventilation and overall refinement and sophistication of the helmet. For the bike I own, the power it has and the speeds it can go, I'd appreciate maximum amount of stability at such speeds. And the AGV does that way better for the amount of thought and quality put into engineering this helmet. and for the shiny black beauty that I possess, it is only fair to get a shiny black crown to ride on with. There are also much more premium Japanese helmets in the global market that come from brands like Arai, Shoei, which of course are a huge leap ahead in terms of quality, with ECE, Snell, Sharp and FIM certifications which are super serious and world class in terms of safety. But I don't have lakhs to spend on a helmet, and the kidney joke is patented only for the iPhones.
But regardless of your budget, I'd urge you to get the best quality helmet your budget can allow you. And that is at least ISI certified. Any form of certification above that is just better.
Speaking of comfort, and I'll speak only about the AGV because that's what I'll be using from now on. This one is made of carbon fiberglass and weighs about 1300 grams, which is much lighter, stronger and safer than my previous lid. You get removable Shalimar liners inside that have moisture wicking capabilities, which feels premium to the skin. I'm using the size medium small and have spent quite some time wearing the helmet indoors to break in. And I suggest you do that too. A helmet should be super tight when it's new, and it takes a while for you to get used to the new fit. And you don't want to be riding while you do that. This helmet also comes with an inbuilt sun visor and a pin lock insert for the main visor that adds to the comfort. In terms of build quality, apart from the fiberglass shell, the quality of plastics is not substantially better than my previous one, but is okay and seems pretty premium and solid. But we'll see as the days pass.
For the price, well, these helmets are not sold in India, and that takes away the relevance of it. All I can say is that this helmet costs a bomb, and I had to pull some strings to get it here. Whew, that was quite an essay on just the helmets. Let's now move on to the next most important thing after the helmet. Now, up until very recently, I was of this assumption that as for human anatomy, the next most important thing after the brain is the heart, because प्यार तो वही से करते हैं ना public. But I would rather the upper body that contains the heart, the lungs and the spine. So it only makes the most sense to get a riding jacket with armor to protect your upper body, right? And back when I was thinking about getting riding gear, a riding jacket appealed to me more than anything after the helmet. And I'm sure you, if you've thought about riding gear, that's what you think, right? Not only does it look stylish, but it's also safe. Turns out I was absolutely wrong. When I think about protecting ourselves on a bike, the priority shouldn't be as per what biology suggests. The priority should be as per the rate of vulnerability, or in other words, the part of the body that is the most prone to get hurt on a bike.
As per statistics, most accidents occur not on high speeds or fast-paced situations, but in parking lots or traffic, where we are at a much slower pace, where the probability of things going wrong are much higher. And in such situations, the most likely part that is prone to get hurt are your feet. And that is why, after the helmet, the first thing that you should be investing in are a pair of riding boots. That's when I landed on these, the Royal Enfield Stelvio boots. These are made by TCX in collaboration with Royal Enfield. Now TCX is again another Italian brand that has been making riding boots for more than 20 years now. These boots come with a CE certified mark. CE certification is the European safety mark for riding gear, which is quite tricky to be honest. The CE certification isn't as straightforward as the helmet safety ratings. Brands often slap the CE certification mark on riding gear without mentioning what the CE mark denotes. More on that later. But here, in terms of safety, you can't really go wrong with the TCX. These boots provide you protection on the foot, the heel, the toe and the ankle. The movement is restricted to a fair amount to not let your foot bend or twist during impact. The sole underneath is also made of high quality rubber that has good enough grip while you move your bike around on the tarmac. The story is slightly different on gravel. It doesn't inspire as much confidence as one would expect moving around in the gravel, but otherwise the grip is so good that I even sometimes use this as a door stopper in my bedroom. There's also a taller version of the same boot that goes up to your shin and obviously provides better protection and a slightly more waterproof height as well. This is a more off-road oriented option leaning towards the MX side of things. Again, depending on your budget, you can go up and down the quality ladder and choose the one that fits your purpose and choice. If you want something that provides your feet the protection they deserve and isn't too out there in terms of design, style and looks, you can opt for the Royal Enfield E39 boots that have been launched recently. These are again fully leather made, CE certified, waterproof boots, slightly less out there than these ones, but offer great protection for the foot at the ankle, toe and the heel. But you notice a little lack of overall reinforcement on these compared to the TCXs. but it's far better than other budget options or even generic shoes. These two are pretty tough, offer excellent grip, and are a great option to ride on with on daily commutes as well, because of their subtle design. There are of course other brand boots that come at much cheaper price, but it all comes down to the safety certification and the quality of materials used. Because the sole purpose of these boots, pun intended, is to protect your foot while riding. And if they don't, what's even the point? It's like getting a pair of headphones for your pet snake. Speaking of comfort, the E39s are made of leather and have a waterproof membrane along with soft padding on the inside. The leather takes a little while to break in and for you to get used to riding and walking in them. But once you do, it is supremely comfortable. Although I haven't used them as much as the TCX ones, but whatever I've experienced, I can surely say that these are probably the closest you can get to normal shoes in terms of comfort in this price segment. The TCXs, on the other hand, are made of full grain leather with a T-dry membrane and are slightly stiffer than the E39s, which is probably because of the thicker leather construction and a heavier build. Both weigh more than a kilo on each foot, but it's just a matter of time till they feel like normal footwear. Also, you do need to practice riding with these on. Shifting gears and using brakes might seem like a task at the beginning, especially in dense traffic, but you eventually get the hang of it. I have absolutely no complaints in terms of comfort on both of these boots. But mind you, these are riding boots. No matter how good they look, how expensive they are, and how long they last, they are meant to be ridden with, and not to be worn for your morning runs or party occasions. So Ranveer Singh, please stay away from these. The build quality on both of these boots is exceptional. The TCX is built like a tank with hard leather construction, supreme quality of buckles made of metal, and a stitching that is meant to last. I've ridden with them through all kinds of terrain and there's some visible wear on the toe as well. But there's not one issue with these boots. The Royal Enfield E39s are built well too. You get velcro straps and zipping on the sides for fastening. The zips too have velcro to stay tucked in and give you complete waterproofing. The stitching on these boots is also great and will last you for ages. And I absolutely love the undersole of these boots. They're very pronounced and grippy too. Speaking of the fourth fundamental, the price, the Royal Enfield TCX cost a whopping 18,000 rupees, while the Royal Enfield E39s cost rupees 12,000. Now I can imagine the amount of things I can walk in a mall and get for that much money. But if I don't use this kind of boots while riding, I won't be able to walk in the mall to begin with. Jokes aside, now that we have covered both ends of the body, let's move on to the gloves. Now, why gloves? Because in a situation of a crash or a fall, you tend to reach the ground with your hands to reduce the impact, which is why a glove is the next most important thing to get. I previously bought and used the Rynox Urban X gloves, which were amazing in fit and the safety they provided. These costed me about 3,500 rupees, a review of which is already on my channel. I used them for 2 years and upgraded to these, the Rynox Storm Evo gloves. To begin with, this is a complete leather construction and is fully CE certified. Not just the protectors, but the entire glove, which is very important, mind you. With the CE certification standard, these gloves are tested towards impact, abrasion, cut, and tear resistance. Rynox has not just slapped a CE tag, but justified that very well with these gloves. Along with that, these have impact protection on the knuckles and wrists, which is apparently real carbon fiber, thanks to the longer gauntlet. And most importantly, you get knock sliders near your scaphoid bone that enables your glove to slide smoothly on contact with the ground, instead of gripping the surface and leading to twisting the wrist or injuries to the scaphoid bone. I would easily recommend these for the safety they provide, although I still miss the pinky finger bridge on these gloves. That would have made them the best in this category. However, I believe the successor of these has that feature, so better late than never. Moving on to the next fundamental, the comfort. Rynox claims that these gloves come pre-curved, which means they require zero wear-in. But when I got these, I needed some time to firstly get used to the full leather construction and for the leather to mold to the shape of my hand. For the first few weeks of me using it, it was surely a little painful and uncomfortable. But after I broke into these, there have been absolutely no complaints. They fit perfectly like a glove should. However, the leather body heats up your hands during summer, although only in stop and go traffic. Thanks to the perforated finish on these, the ventilation is pretty decent, not too good and not too bad. I've spent an entire day touring in these and haven't had any issues in terms of comfort. These gloves also aren't waterproof, by the way, so I don't really prefer wearing them in rains as well. I don't prefer doing anything in the rains. And since these are again leather made, the build quality seems absolutely premium. The stitches are strong and built to last. The two-step closure system with Velcro is more than enough to ensure a good fit for years. For the price of 5,000 rupees, these gloves are a good investment for touring. I would prefer some other option in the city, even the Urban X gloves for that matter from Rynox, as they are a little less serious and a combination of leather and fabric. Excusing the missing pinky bridge, these do justify the price for the build quality and protection these gloves have on offer. The successor of these gloves, and the one that is in the market for sale right now, the Storm Evo 3, comes with everything that these ones have and the pinky bridge too, along with some more protection on the finger joints. These ones cost Rs 5,750. A 750 rupees premium essentially for these two features is not justified, but considering the entire package, it seems about right.
Okay, now that we've covered the basics, let's now move on to protection on the rest of your body. Oh, see? With idiots like these, you need protection. Anyway, so here's something I've struggled with while thinking about getting riding gear. I had two options to either get a riding jacket or riding pants. Both are equally important and you can't really prioritize on what's more crucial, right? So if you find yourself in a situation like this, then I'd suggest you to prioritize more on the jacket and then stretch your budget a little bit and then get a pair of knee guards at least. That way you don't make a hole in your pocket and at the same time make sure you are safe enough on the road.
And knee guards turn out to be as important as a pair of gloves because your knees are again more likely to touch the ground first after your hands. There are again hundreds of options out there for your budget. The ones that I got were the Rynox's Bastion Bionic knee guards. I sadly don't have them with me right now as I upgraded to riding pants later, but with whatever my use was, these turned out to be pretty good, except for the fact that these kept slipping off my knees while I walked with them on. Apart from that, for the price of 3,500 rupees, these were a pretty comfortable and useful pair of knee guards. With that slight tangent, let's get back to our jackets and pants. Now there are again outrageous numbers of choices you have in terms of riding jackets and pants, with different safety features, ergonomics and styles. I myself happen to have 4 kinds of riding jackets and 2 riding pants. Let's have a look at the jackets first. This is the Rynox Tornado Pro 3 that I had bought about 2 years ago, a review of which is already on my channel. The Tornado Pro 4 is the newer and advanced version of the Pro 3, with added protection on the chest and overall better comfort and fit, a review of which is also on my channel already. The third is the Viaterra Spencer jacket, which is a mesh riding jacket that provides insane level of ventilation and comfort. And fourth is the FKR Black Edition jacket from the brand Faisal Khan Racing. That must seem like a familiar name, right? This jacket has an extremely lightweight and sturdy construction. All 4 of these jackets are extremely well built with a beautiful fit. I won't be talking about the Rynox's Tornado Pro 3 as it is discontinued after the launch of the Pro 4. But let's compare the fundamentals of the rest of the 3 jackets.
Starting with safety. Now remember when I say that brands are very smart when it comes to CE certifications on their product. With riding jackets and pants, you get the CE tag here and there saying CE certified or approved, which naturally makes you think that the jacket itself has gone through testing and is CE certified. Don't get me wrong, there are proper CE certified jackets in the market that go through the tests and are regulated under the PPE regulation. And when a jacket has that, brands make sure they brag about it and let you know. But sometimes, well, most of the times, that's not the case. The CE certification is only for the armors, and the rest of the jacket is just jacket. Now it's up to the manufacturer to decide how much of safety is actual safety and how much is just marketing gimmicks. The marketing gimmicks are irrelevant. What we will discuss about are the actual safety features.
Riding jackets come with armors on obvious impact areas that protect your body from injuries. Ideally, a good riding jacket has armors on shoulders, elbows, back and chest. Armors are further segregated into level 1 and level 2 categories that are certified by the CE mark. Level 1 is the bare minimum, in which the maximum force that gets transferred through the armors is below 18 kN, whereas the level 2 is better and can absorb a higher impact with maximum transmitted force of 9 kN, which can reduce the chances of an injury. All 3 of these come with CE level 2 armors on shoulder and elbows, Nox armors for the Rynox, Sastec armors for the Viaterra, and SafeTech armors for the FKR. While FKR has options for upgrade to a CE level 2 armor on the back, both the Viaterra and the Rynox come with level 2 armors at the back by default. Moreover, the Viaterra has options for upgrade to a level 1 or 2 armor on the chest, whereas the Rynox comes with level 2 armors on the chest as well, by default. Bottom line, the Rynox Tornado Pro 4 turns out to be the most loaded in terms of safety armors. Loaded with a combination of Cordura fabric on the impact areas and 600D PU coated polyester everywhere else for abrasion resistance, Rynox has thrown everything at the Tornado Pro 4 jacket to make sure it is safer even for a meteor attack, not the Royal Enfield Meteor. But they haven't mentioned the denier of the Cordura fabric used in the jacket, but I'm assuming it to be above 500D. Again, Cordura is another brand of fabric that is used for abrasion resistance, and denier, or the letter D, is the density and strength of the fabric. Higher the number, denser, thicker and heavier the fabric. The Viaterra Spencer jacket has taken a similar approach with 500D Cordura panels on the impact areas, but everywhere else this jacket is made with complete mesh design. The FKR jacket on the other hand has just PU coated polyester on impact areas with mesh everywhere else. All three of these jackets have retro-reflective panels for visibility during the night, which is again safer. Which draws us to the conclusion that Rynox is the most serious and well made with respect to safety, which is the purpose of a riding jacket. Having said that, it has a price to pay. And that's not the price of the jacket. The price is comfort. More on that in a moment. The Viaterra Spencer is a good balance between safety and comfort, with almost equal amount of armors out of the box and good quality materials for slight protection on impact areas. The Spencer is a little easy-going yet reliable in terms of safety. The FKR jacket, however, is strictly made for casual usage. Although it does get by with sufficient armors and protective materials, it is not the safest among the three. However, it makes up for the safety with incredible comfort. Now, speaking of comfort, the next most important thing one should think about after safety, because that's what is going to want you to keep wearing the jacket in the first place. And in this category, the order flips completely. The FKR jacket is far ahead in the comfort game, with its feather-light construction, completely mesh design and superb fit. This has to be the most user-friendly jacket I've used and the only one that I've been consistently wearing every day on my commutes.
And that changes the game altogether. What do you think makes more sense? A super safe, super serious jacket that you wouldn't really prefer wearing every day in the hot weather, or a slightly serious jacket with respectable amount of safety features that is comfortable enough for you to wear it almost every day in the hot traffic?
I'd say the latter, because it's always better to have less safe riding gear that is comfortable than not having riding gear in the first place. And in Indian weather, a riding jacket loaded with armors and thick layers of heavy duty materials will cook you up like a fresh plate of momos. What I do is I prefer riding with the FKR jacket on my short distance commutes in the city. I know that there's hardly any scope for me to ride fast and use all of that impact and abrasive protection on the most serious riding jackets. I'd rather use the FKR, which is safe enough, lightweight and breathable. Also very subtle in terms of looks, by the way. And while riding over longer distances, I prefer riding the Viaterra or the Rynox jacket, as they are more durable and provide better safety features.
Having said that, if you're planning on getting one, you first need to identify what your actual purpose is. If you do only longer rides at high speeds, where you need as much protection as possible, both in terms of safety armors and abrasion, then the Rynox is the way to go. Also, Rynox has the most likely chance to be allowed on a racetrack compared to any mesh jacket out there in the market. The Viaterra, on the other hand, has a great balance between safety and comfort. If you want to do longer rides and can manage a slightly warm ride on your daily commutes, Viaterra would make much more sense. But if you do only daily commutes in the city, then the FKR is the best for you, for the amount of comfort it has with being fair enough in terms of safety.
All three of these jackets are built extremely well and don't seem to show any signs of aging even after rough use. With fit adjustments along the sleeves, soft neoprene materials on the borders, good quality zippers and extremely precise stitching, all three of these jackets have impressed me. Coming to the price of these jackets, and this will help you decide what's best for you. The Rynox Tornado Pro 4 costs 7,950 rupees, which is a heavy amount, but it justifies with incredible quality of materials and safety armors. Also, Rynox has turned into a very reputable brand in the Indian market, and their products justify that very well. This jacket turns out to be the best value for money. The Viaterra Spencer jacket, however, costs a whopping 15,000 rupees, 14,999 to be precise, which is honestly quite a lot. But Viaterra more than justifies the price by giving you a custom fit jacket made with your individual measurements. And trust me, there is nothing more safer than a well-fitting jacket with armors placed correctly on your body. Once you place the order, you are asked for all the possible measurements required for the jacket. And you're also offered a free trial and size exchange in case the jacket doesn't match the measurements. This is what gives Viaterra a league of its own. And I absolutely love the way this jacket fits me. Besides that, considering the quality of materials and safety armors, along with being supremely comfortable and equally safe, it doesn't let you regret your investment. The FKR jacket is priceless at this point. Why you ask? Because the brand has sadly discontinued making riding gears, which is really unfortunate given the passion the FKR team had in making these products. This comes from the desire to fuel a beginner's dream of motorcycling. But as they say, it's been a hell of a run, but all good things do come to an end. But I'm genuinely hoping that they start making riding gear again very soon, because this genuinely is a great product for the price it came at. Knowing this doesn't exist in the market anymore, I covered this jacket anyway because it deserved the mention. So bottom line, all three of these coming at different price points, catering to different purposes, do make sense in their own way. With the jacket sorted, now let's move on to the pants, which are the last piece of riding gear that you need. Now with pants, the safety and comfort are equally important, and I believe no matter what riding pants you get, apart from the safety they offer, they're going to be far better than normal pants, trousers or jeans. With ventilation at multiple places, soft materials at the bottom area, and easy access to get in and out, riding pants turn out to be much more practical and sensible to be in while riding a bike. And I've got two pairs of riding pants with me, the Rynox Advento and the Viaterra Spencer. To keep you safe on impact, both of these come with CE Level 2 armors on the knees and the hips. The Viaterra Spencer also gets an extra tailbone armor at the back for added protection. Both of these pants get abrasion resistance in the form of Cordura panels on obvious impact areas, while the Viaterra is more generous and thoughtful while using Cordura across impact areas. The Rynox uses a combination of Cordura and polyester throughout the entire surface of the pants, with palm-sized pockets of mesh for ventilation above the knees. The Viaterra has a complete mesh construction everywhere else, apart from the Cordura protected areas. Here I like Viaterra's approach more, for being smart with protecting the obvious impact areas and focusing more on ventilation on the rest. It strikes a good balance between safety and comfort. And trust me, that level of ventilation makes a world of a difference.
Oh, let me get that. Oh, the ventilation. Oh my god. Oh.
The Rynox, on the other hand, again takes the same approach as the jacket, being too serious on impact and abrasion resistance, and compromising slightly on comfort, which is not a bad thing on a good day, but when you're riding in traffic in the heat of Mumbai, you could use some ventilation. And giving a small exhaust vent for the air to pass doesn't really help anyway. Having said that, when circumstances require you to be insulated, for example cold places like Ladakh, you definitely need a pair of Rynox jackets and pants. The mesh ventilation could freeze you if you plan on riding in sub 5 degree temperatures. In terms of build quality, just like the jackets, both the Rynox and the Viaterra pants are built to last for years, with the Viaterra having an edge with a custom fit for the pants as per your measurements. For the price, both of these pants are surprisingly priced similar at Rs 8,350 for the Rynox and Rs 8,500 for the Viaterra, with an added cost of Rs 500 for the optional tailbone armor. So it eventually boils down to what your purpose and utility is, to choose which one fits you better.
As I said, you first need to figure out what your purpose is and then work around on making adjustments to your riding gear to suit to different scenarios. That doesn't mean that you compromise on the sole purpose of the riding gear in the first place. Wearing the riding gear with zips open, tucking your helmet on your elbows, or not wearing the riding gear in the first place. Please don't do that. If you've got the riding gear, make the most use of it, please.
With that, we are at the end of our quest to safety while being on the roads. With whatever gears we discussed, or rather I ranted about, all of these in combination surely do cost more than $1 lakh, which is almost half as much as a bike would cost. Does it really make sense? Do we really need riding gear?
Brings us back to the question my friend asked me. Do I not trust my riding skills? To be very honest, riding gear isn't some kind of a magic pill that will make me immune to any kind of mishap on the road. Riding gear brands surely do want you to believe so, but my riding skills and my awareness on the road is what will eventually take me back home in one piece. I surely do trust whatever little riding skills I've got, and we all should. But how do we trust things that we don't know? Things that are out of our skills reach or out of our control? How do I take responsibility for the idiot on the road riding and driving alongside me? How do I make sure others not screwing up things for me and causing me harm? In unprecedented situations like those is where you need riding gear. To not avoid impact but to reduce it. I'd rather decide wearing riding gear before an accident in good shape rather than after one with a missing patch of flesh on my body or a head injury. Am I making sense? If I am, let me know in the comment section what do you think about riding gear and what have been your experiences with or without them on the road. This was my review and kind of a walkthrough of all the riding gear that I own, and I hope you enjoyed it. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you again very soon.
Bonus.
Sound sync, helmet. Arey gloves, dude, fuck. Arey, I should remove this bike out of frame. How do I act, dude? First and foremost, chal theek hai. First and foremost is obviously the helmet. Now, no matter how... Fuck, dude, I forgot the lines. No matter how smart or dumb you are, you're still valuable. Helmet take 2, chal. No matter how smart or dumb you are, you're still valuable, and the most valuable part of you is inside your head. Okay.
Rolling. Bye.
First and foremost is obviously the helmet. Now, no matter how no. Fuck, dude. Why do I fucking go once again?
Rolling. Good.
Okay, first and foremost is obviously the helmet. Now, no matter how smart or dumb you are, you're still valuable. And what's... let roll. Fuck, dude, how can we can't cut it, right?